Hi, everybody. I'm Kelly Hogan, and I am joined by 12 group members who I don't even know what they're going to share. I got a brief list of I want to share benefits or improvements. And I was like, great, surprise me. Let's do it. First up today, I would love to talk to Aaron. Hi, Aaron. What did you want to pass on to folks today?
Well, I really have had a really interesting recovery period. I broke my shoulder,
Oh,
but I'll just give you a little back history. Joined your group 10 months ago, and I had been diagnosed with osteoporosis, which I was not happy about. So anyway, I had looked into what would be the best thing to help that. Anyway, I sort of got involved with the carnivore. From there, the first 3 months I lost like 25 pounds. But in November, I decided I would go ice skating, and I fell and well, I was bumped by a little child, which was
oh.
part of it. Bless his heart. Anyway, but I fell and broke my shoulder, and because I thought instantly if this is going to be an issue with osteoporosis.
Oh.
But through all of that, they said, some people are super healers, but unusual. I'm almost 69. And I thought, we'll see. But literally, it's only been 9 weeks. And I went to the doctor yesterday and he said it's completely healed.
Ah,
He just could not believe it. He goes, 3 months from now, you could probably get an x-ray and I would never even know you had that.
awesome.
So I told him, I'm doing carnivore. He goes, that's it. That's it right there. I was like shocked that he was so supportive. But yeah, it just was such a good motivator for me to understand I need that internal healing going on. I do not any longer have osteoporosis, which is also in 10 months. I'm like, wow. So
Are
because
you serious? You've had your,
yes,
that
I
is,
had a DEXA scan done and like right normal. And I'm like, yes. Yes. So
that's so
I was
cool.
just thrilled and I thought, I still have a few pounds to lose, but I'm just so excited about the inner healing. I didn't know how much inflammation I had. So anyway, I'm very, very excited about that.
I'm so pumped. There are so many women out there struggling with bone health,
Yes.
osteoporosis, osteopenia, who don't even know that our
Yes.
food can have such an impact. Well, I'm impressed. Did you say you're 69 years old?
I'm almost in April. I'm going to be 69.
You look so good and you went ice skating. My gosh, that's so
Carnivore
cool.
for the win. Well, I am. My kids are like, Mom, what are you thinking? But I thought, I just don't think about it because I feel healthy and
Yes.
active. But I understand. I am pushing it now,
I,
so I have
I'm
to behave myself.
I'm thrilled that you went out there and tried it. You're healing. It's great.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
Erin.
you. Yes.
I appreciate you sharing today. That was great. All right, next up, I have Jenny, and I'm excited to hear from you. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be here this morning. And my journey with carnivore about a year and a half ago was started with my husband saying, "Hey, I found this video and it was you." And we watched it. I'm like, "There's no way I could eat just meat. I just, no way." And then we saw some people at church about 4.5 months ago, and they looked great. They had lost weight. And I'm like, "What are you doing? Carnivore?" And I'm like, "Okay, tell me more." And she said, "Just look it up and commit to 30 days." Well, my commitment to 30 days changed to 90 days. And now I just never even want to go back. I have a long history of illness, about 30 years. I have ulcerative colitis. I'd
Oh,
say I don't have it anymore because I have no symptoms, which is the first time it's gone this. I've had other bouts where I've done well. I've had medications, very heavy medications, and fortunately, medications were not enough. So I just kept searching for diet and whittling things down. And, I had to get super restrictive and pay a lot of money for programs and supplements. And although they did work to some degree, it wasn't long lasting.
Yeah.
And I've been able to drop supplements. There's so many benefits. I have lost some weight and I have lost inches as well. So that's great. But I had no idea of all the other benefits, like the brain fog is pretty much gone. I was having heart palpitations and heart squeezes, and I was diagnosed with the palpitations, and those are pretty much gone. I was generally tired all day, and now I could walk faster and hike, and my recovery is better.
Yeah.
And I had really lost hope. I'm going to be 53 this year, and my health is just continuing to decline, osteopenia, um, a slight bladder incontinence. I had the GI issues, bleeding, urgency. I couldn't go anywhere without knowing where a toilet was. I've noticed my blood pressure's gotten better. And 8 years of being on Humira caused fungal problems with my toes. That's actually resolving. The athlete's foot's going away. I mean, I could just keep going.
Wow.
Yeah, I've got some more weight to lose, but I was just telling my husband this morning, who's lost 22 or 24 pounds.
Yeah.
He's doing great. Like, this isn't a diet. And even though it seems restrictive to other people, for me, it's freeing because I have an eating disordered past as well. And I would tend to overeat. So, one thing I've learned from your groups, which I joined this January, the videos are great, but getting in on the group, having the support's been helpful. Learning about TDEE, volume eating, and tips on how to manage emotions, emotional health without turning to food. And all these different fasts we can do. I love the fat fast day. And like my body is just like, yes, this is what I needed the whole time.
Yeah. I'm actually on a fat fast today. I do them occasionally. I'm not trying to lose weight. I just love how I feel when I eat all of that amazing fat.
Yeah.
And so, you've tried the fat fast as well?
Yes, I will say when your body's not used to it, don't have too much on that first time. Um, but I ended up fasting the next day. I ended up fasting like 27 hours. I've never fasted longer than maybe 16, 17 hours. I just wasn't hungry.
I think the fact that when you do a fat fast, so many people say, I finally felt just so satisfied that they didn't
Yeah.
feel they had to eat as much afterwards. Because, yeah,
Mhm.
like you said, I finally got what I needed. Yet the fat. That's great. Hey, Jenny, I'm so happy you're doing so much better. You look amazing. I'm so thankful that you came on to share. So thanks, Jenny. Hey, Laurie, I'm excited to
Kelly.
hear your story. I hear it involves autoimmune issues and years of trying everything. Is that about right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Everything. I have to say that listening to Jenny and Aaron's testimonies, oh my gosh, I was like, don't cry.
Oh,
Don't cry. Amazing. Like Jenny was saying, like all over healing all over. I'm sure I had inflammation all over my body. And I'm an herbalist and I've been studying natural medicine since I was 19. I'm 56 years old. And my dad was a doctor also, so I was always surrounded by that. But numerous, I'm one of those people that I had chronic fatigue, like severe debilitating chronic fatigue, severe skin reactions, often weird kind of weird things would happen. The idiopathic, they call it, when they can't tell you what it is or what's causing it, but they know you're having some kind of reaction. In the last month that I've been in your group has been so helpful because I've been doing this so much alone and I've gotten so much information from, all the people, all the carnivore people that even I was back with Dr. Ken Berry he was when he was still keto and I was learning about keto and then he started going this carnivore way. So I had to check it out. But it was really challenging. Like, I think the biggest challenge was mentally. And I'm pretty good at, like, I can do different I was a juicer, I was vegan, I was macrobiotic. I mean, I've done everything in the last 35 years to just seeking healing. Carnivore has just lowered all the inflammation in my body. So it's allowed my body to heal, my mind to heal, my lymphatic system, just all of the symptoms are gone. I work out probably 5 times a week. Usually I'm just really active, super active. I have so much energy. And I used to actually go to bed and I remember thinking, well, this is interesting because I don't even know if I'm going to wake up. I'm just that it's like, it was almost like my body was just going to stop. It was just going to stop. And my thyroid had issues. So, in this last month, I broke a stall with you. And that's finally why I kind of decided to become more public. I mean, I was doing it alone and I wanted to join a group, but I didn't know who. And so I joined with you just because you're awesome and you're so helpful and you're so knowledgeable. And I've broken a stall. I don't have any more skin issues. At some point I was at 185. Now I'm at 138.
Oh,
And
wow.
with carnivore, I think the greatest thing was the healing and the inflammation. Because I got to a place with keto and ketovore where I couldn't quite, I just still didn't feel good. And I actually had one of those episodes where they called oxalates.
Oh,
Yeah,
oxalate-dumping?
like yeah, so I had like oxalates coming out. So I had to learn about that. Then I would have like a cup of black tea with that and stuff. But this month, I haven't had any of that.
Oh, good.
It's all been great. The stall is broken, and I learned about fat fasting. I've been doing that. That's what broke it. Was the fat was like putting meat on one day and then dairy and full fat, like lots of fat on another day. Separating those two has
I
helped me.
love that
That
technique so much. I
yeah,
love
that's
meat days and the high fat days with dairy, but on meat days, I don't combine my dairy at all either. Black
yeah,
coffee if it's a meat day, and then I can have all the cream I want if it's a fat fast.
yes.
I'm
Yeah, and I
so
put a
glad.
little bit of iodine. I put a drop of iodine in my coffee and a butter, of course, butter and everything. Brush
Yeah.
my teeth with butter. No, I'm just kidding. I
I
don't brush my teeth with butter.
was like, oh, that's new. Okay. Wouldn't surprise me. I've heard everything, right? We're all slathering ourselves with beef fat, so why not brush our teeth with butter? Hey, Lori, I'm thrilled for you. The fact that you've gotten relief from, I was looking at your list earlier, even canker sores and
Oh,
Epstein-Barr and Candida, like
oh my
eczema.
gosh. I had canker sores for 10 years, like at least five in my mouth, always at the same time, and about the size of the tip of my thumb.
Oh my
And they got
God.
bigger and bigger and they went down into my throat. So horrible. My kids couldn't. I would be like, "Ugh." And then you don't want to eat
No.
because everything hurts. But if you don't eat, then your acid goes, your stomach acid. So yeah, I'm so thankful. And the eczema was just oozing eczema down
Oh,
my
Lori.
ears,
Have any of
everywhere.
y'all, listen, y'all watching at home, have you ever had a little teeny tiny canker sore? I have had a teeny tiny one before. It's all you can think about. It feels
Yeah.
the size of a mountain, and my every thought is canker sore or, ouch, ouch, ouch. I
Oh
can't
yeah,
imagine, Lori. I'm so
it
happy
was
you're free
horrible.
from that. What?
And that nobody could tell me anything, the doctors, all that. Nobody could. They give me things, nothing worked. Increasing my iron, if you read in all the natural books, increasing your iron and B vitamins and taking care of stress. So it was a healing process, the whole thing.
Yeah.
But carnivore has been, thank you, God.
Woo, even if that
Thank
were the
you.
only thing that got better, yes, thank you.
Yes, yeah.
That's big. I can't imagine. I'm so happy for you. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing, Lori. You're
Thank you.
awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, my next group member that volunteered very bravely to share is Amanda. Hey, Amanda, what do you want to pass on today?
So my story with carnivore started in 2020. 2 years prior to that, I've been experiencing all sorts of weird neurological symptoms and just decreasing quality of life because, I had all of the skin issues, eczema, seborrheic dermatitis, athlete's foot, weight gain, and joint pain. And doctors really couldn't help me. They tried, but there was just nothing effective. So it was Jordan Peterson's testimony that,
Yes.
and Michaela, because theirs is an autoimmune and a neurological issue that we healed from that got me very curious. It was so compelling. And then I came across Dr. Berry and then you immediately. You guys had been my community from the beginning because I was by myself doing it. Overnight, my neurological symptoms went away. The depression, the anxiety, like in the first week. And I lost all this water weight. I had no idea what was happening because I kept drinking, but it was just gone. And my pants fit immediately better. And then I just kept going. So to back up a little bit, I did finally get a diagnosis in 2020 of multiple sclerosis. I had suffered a big attack where my brain suffered quite a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And I lost my ability to walk. I just needed a lot of assistance. And it was a long healing path forward. But enter carnivore, and the MS symptoms diminished very, very dramatically. The biggest one being the chronic fatigue that's so associated with MS. It's gone. I don't need a nap anymore.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, I used to need a nap come 1 p.m.
Yeah.
or if I went grocery shopping or spent time with my family watching TV or playing a game.
Yeah.
Those things that are so important to life, they cost so much. But that I have that back now because of carnivore, honestly. Yeah, I'm so, so grateful to God. It was just, he's so good. The other thing that I wanted to, so I guess if I'm going to share a breakthrough, it's the most recent one is the stay longer that you posted about. So I didn't have a dramatic weight loss. I have lost inches of fat and I still have more to lose, but I don't even use the scale as a tool anymore. It's just not a tool that's useful to me. And I've come to realize that I don't get to choose what heals inside of me. My body and the Lord knows exactly what's next, what's in the process of it. And I do understand the desire to look a certain way and be a certain size, but letting go of that was so freeing to just not have that be a master anymore. But it is what it is. And the stay longer was so life-giving to me because, again, it just gave me peace, stay the course.
Yes.
And coming to this community has been so, again, life-giving. We were meant to be in community with God and with each other. You know, we help each other, we encourage each other, we lift each other up. And it's what keeps me going. Tomorrow is another adventure and I get to live it well.
Amanda, I just love you. That's beautiful. And here's something I've heard before. If anyone is very concerned about the scale, count yourself very lucky. Because when it comes to things like MS and not being able to walk and not being able to stay awake to enjoy time with your family, that really puts it into perspective. So I get it. Losing weight, I'm very thankful that I've lost weight. I wouldn't want to take that back. But what a gift to have that as a concern. You know what I mean? Because there are so many things that will suddenly make you go, I'm going to weigh what I weigh as long as I get to feel this good. Then in the long run, the scale will be okay. I'm going to put it away for now and focus on how I feel. I'm so happy for you for every bit of that, Amanda, and I'm so grateful that you shared. I've been asked in the past if I've ever had group members with MS, and now I'll have somebody to point them towards and say, you've got to hear this. It didn't suddenly fix it, but you feel so much better, right?
Yeah, I will say also, if anybody's heard of Dr. Georgia E., she's got her new book out. It just underscores my whole journey.
Yeah. Okay.
This way of eating is so necessary for our brain health. It is just so foundational to it. And because I'm a woman of faith, I've had a savior and a relationship with him for most of my life. But these struggles were real, and they felt very spiritual in nature, but so much of it was physical, physiological in nature. And now that, like, I used to be in a very tumultuous sea that would sometimes be a little calm, emotionally wise and thoughts wise. But once I came to this way of eating and living, it's just like a glassy pond. It's just so calm. And when life gets hard, when troubles come my way, I can handle it. Again, I can just handle it well. I have the headspace and the ability to step outside of emotion and be a little bit more objective. And I credit that to a healthy brain. Yeah. And I credit that to having the building blocks to have a healthy brain.
Yes. It's so much easier to be well spiritually, mentally, physically when we're not putting poison into our bodies every day. And that you're actually getting what you need from nutrition, then we can be open to what we need from the Lord, from other people, to just feeling good. Thanks, Amanda. I love you, sister. Thanks for sharing. Okay, next up, I have Mindy. Now, I know we just talked about put away the scale, and we did not talk about calories and numbers because a lot of people are not interested. But Mindy, I have heard that you had a 3-year weight loss stall. And sometimes when people hit a 3-year weight loss stall, they are ready to talk about some numbers. So tell me a little more about your story.
So it started back in 2020. I was introduced to Dr. Boz, and I had dropped down to 20 carbs, and it was actually like the weight loss was easy for me. It was one of those where I didn't have to, I tracked my 20 carbs, but that was my main focus. I lost 100 pounds. So after 1 year, I hit 100-pound weight loss. And it was like a week after that, I found out I was pregnant with my fourth. But unfortunately, like I was on, keto carnivore for a while, but I let sugar back in because it was like, oh, I'm pregnant. It's whatever. And then I gained it all back and was like, dang, okay, well, I know what to do. It worked before. So I had dropped after I was no longer pregnant, dropped down to 20 carbs. And I just maintained, then I fluctuated, but really I was basically in a stall for 3 years. My daughter just turned 3 in December. And so I was like, okay, something has to change. Like I'm still feeling great, like all the non-scale victories of, my mood swell. Like, I felt great. Anytime I went to sugar, I hated it. I felt awful. Those cravings were just always in the back of my mind. And so I was like, okay, something has to change. So I decided to join your January group. So I did the TDEE and I realized that I'm a volume eater. And so I really had to like cut back because it was easy for me to eat all the fat and protein I wanted. And so I had to dial it back. And then I started chewing much slower. And that really helped me feel fuller and stay satisfied at the 1,700 calories.
I love the tip of chew slower for so many reasons. For us volume eaters, because I'm with you, Mindy, I scarf it down and then realize 20 minutes later, oh my gosh, I'm stuffed. But I just ate so fast, it takes a while. So chew slower. It's also great for digestion. So the scale has started moving this month.
Yes, so I'm down 7 pounds, which is
Just
amazing.
in January?
Just in January.
Oh, amazing. So, okay, volume eater. If any of you watching are like, wait a second, did that carnivore just say calories might matter? You can't overeat on carnivore. I'm going to link to the video that I did about my 2 dogs, Millie and Otis. I have a dog that is an intuitive eater. That is Millie. I could give her all the food in the world and she would eat it and stop and she stays slim and trim. And then there's Otis. I am an Otis. Otis will eat anything you put in front of him. And he just loves that he has no shut off. And Otis will gain weight very quickly to where he can't even make it up the steps of our house. He's a little short, Chewini. So he really has to have some get up and go to get up and go. And so, Mindy, it's okay. Some people are a Millie and then there's us. And we just have to have somebody say, this is enough. This is how much you need. And then once we practice that, we learn what that feels like. And then we can adjust. So I'm glad it's working.
And I also have been using the habit tracker.
Mm-hmm.
And that has also been wonderful because I would focus on weight loss and all these things that, are kind of in my control, but largely like out of my control, right? I can't just lose a pound today. And so looking at, okay, yeah, I can control if I do my resistance training. I can drink my 80 ounces of water and I can track my food. And so those were like the small things that I started focusing on instead of focusing on like, darn, the scale didn't move. And then, because I'm also a self-sabotager, if I see it going up, it's like, well, then turning to food or getting upset and angry. So it's like, okay, no, I'm going to focus on these daily victories that I can control, and it changed my focus. And so then I could focus on, okay, I'm, eating on my TDEE. I'm keeping the food simple, just beef, butter, eggs, making it achievable each day.
Oh, I think if anybody takes any one takeaway, well, first of all, try carnivore. Second of all, y'all listen to what Mindy is saying. We spend our time obsessing over the output, the results. I want to control the results. If we just set our mind to, I'm going to do these things consistently and stay longer, like was just said, stay longer, stick with it longer, and just focus on the input and let the output handle itself. It might take years. Here you are, Mindy, 3 years later. I'm just so proud of you. You stuck with it. Mindy, thank you for sharing. That's good stuff. Chew slower. You might need a TDEE. You might need to go longer. Focus on the input and not just the output. Thank you, sister. That was great. Next, I'm going to talk to Allie. Hey, Allie, you said that you've had healing from quite a few issues. Talk to me about that.
Yes, it's been a journey, definitely. But I've been carnivore now for about 3 months.
Great.
And prior to that, I had about an 11-year battle with candida and massive amounts of inflammation and digestive problems and all sorts of things as a result from an eating disorder that I had for quite a while. And I severely underate and I worked out way too much. And my body had a freak out moment where it just kind of started to shut down. I started to gain weight overnight, like in increments of like 30 pounds. And it was a lot of like fluid and inflammation that was just everywhere. And I tried everything and I spent so much money going to doctors. Then I had all these tests done and nobody could tell me anything. And everyone just told me that I had anxiety or that it was in my head. And, and it was really hard when nobody believes you. So it took about 11 years. Yeah, I had tried in those 11 years paleo. And then I was keto for many, many years, which I loved, but I still had really disruptive digestion. I mean, it was like almost non-existent. And so through keto, I found carnivore. And within 24 hours of starting carnivore, my digestive turned back on like normally. And it had been 11 years. Yeah, within 24 hours. And I noticed that even though the scale hasn't moved, which isn't really a huge goal that I have, it moved about 5 to 7 pounds since starting carnivore. Okay. But my inflammation has continued to go down to now where I'm probably back to normal. And I'm not in pain and I don't have, the candida that I had before or the bloating or anything like that.
So do you feel like you said at one point you were gaining weight even though you were eating so little and the under eating and the over exercising was leading to some of these health problems? Now you're able to, you say I've only dropped 5 to 7 pounds in 3 months, but you're eating more than before, hopefully.
Yes. And that's something that's been really hard. So since I've joined your group, that's something I've really paid attention to is using Carb Manager. Yes. In tracking, because I thought when I started carnivore, I'm eating so much and yes. I'm, probably at 2,000 calories. I started tracking and I was like way under. Oh. And I thought, still? So I started tracking and now I pay attention every day to try and hit where I'm supposed to be. Good. And by doing that, I've noticed I wear an Oura ring and I wear a Apple Watch so I can track lots and lots of things. And I've noticed that my sleep has improved when I eat more. My blood pressure has improved. My energy has improved. And I, because I have this data where I track, I've noticed that like I don't have joint pain. I didn't even know I had joint pain, but I've noticed that, like my knees don't hurt. I didn't realize they did, or little funny things like that. So it's really helped just overall. And I'm hoping that it just continues so I don't have to worry about any of the bad stuff coming back ever again. So
yes, I love that you said that as you ate more, mm-hmm. your blood pressure came down, your sleep went up, and you just feel better. There are so many people who assume they're eating that 2,000 calories, and when they check, it's more like 1,000.
That was the case for me.
Yes. Yep. Really common. So you were what we call the Una, the undereater. Yep. And the fact that you've been consciously practicing fixing that day after day and losing any weight in this process, I will take it 5 to 7 pounds. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I will too.
Especially if it means you're feeling better in the process. Because once somebody works their way up to maintenance and they're feeling good and they're eating their maintenance calories, okay, now this is a no-brainer. We can do a cut. We can make those drops and get some weight to come off. But can't do that when you're under eating. Can't do that if you can't sleep. Can't do that if you feel like trash. Like, we've got to fix these problems. And you have.
Yeah. I didn't even realize. I think I was living in a constant state of fight or flight. And I didn't realize until I started eating more. And then I thought, oh, I'm not very anxious, or I don't have anxiety anymore that I didn't realize I really had, but I feel really calm and really good.
Right.
So it's those little stressors you don't even know are there until you fix them. And then you're like, oh, I feel really good now.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you, Allie. That is awesome. I appreciate
Thank
you coming to
you.
share today. Somebody needed to hear that. Is it you? Somebody needed to hear that. Okay. Thanks, Allie.
Thank you.
My next group member is Holly. She sent me a list of things I'm very excited to hear about. Holly, tell me more.
Okay, so I started back in September. My sister actually has been following you for a very long time. She lost 55 pounds. She's got fibromyalgia, and it literally took her 6 months to convince me that you are not a crazy lady. And so I did the research, and everything that you were talking about, I'm like, this makes sense. So I gave it a shot. So that was September. I am down actually now 35 pounds, but we went home for Christmas and all of Bob's family was like, you can't do this. You're going to die. I'm a cancer survivor. I only have one kidney. So they were telling me about how horrible that this was going to be for me. And I'm like, no, I looked at all your videos, all the different, Dr. Barry, I think is one of them, did all of that, did all the research, like, no, I'm doing good. I'm going to keep on doing this. And I promised them my blood work is on the 4th of January. I promise I will let you know how everything comes out. So get all my blood work done. My A1C was 5.2. Yes. I did the research. So I knew when I went into the doctor to go over the results, I knew what questions to ask. But I've got an amazing doctor, and he also, your handbook that said the different tests that you should talk to your doctor about.
Yes.
I went in there with all of these, and he's like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The fasting glucose was 71. My bone density needed issues, but he explained to me that the weight bearing exercises would help that. Our daughter got us, well, I'm 65. We are going to be married 47 years next week. And so daughter bought us a vibration pad.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
That takes some getting used to.
Yes.
So I talked to the doctor about that, and he said, yes, that would help. But then he was concerned about the cholesterol. My cholesterol was 309.
Okay.
And he says, I'm itching to put you on medication. I talked to him about the CAT scan, and he agreed. So the CAT scan came back, and there was absolutely nothing in my arteries.
Is this a
Absolutely.
CAC scan of
Yeah.
zero?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely nothing. But I wouldn't have known about all of these things if I hadn't have been following you, if I hadn't have been, doing the research. So then I also learned that there's pattern A and pattern B with the cholesterol.
Yes.
Pattern B is the bad one that settles down in the arteries. Pattern A just floats away. So I evidently have pattern A because there was absolutely no buildup. And so the takeaways was encourage research. Just keep on digging, keep on digging. The other thing is because I don't need all the supplements, I'm saving like $80 to $100 a month and not taking all the supplements. My magnesium came back great. My potassium came back great. I mean, there was just so many pluses. I'm sitting there going, how is this possible? So it was just absolutely fantastic. And it was funny because my husband has been he won't do it with me, but he does eat more meat.
Right.
We were on the weekends, he will grill everything for me. And one of his coworkers came over and he's like, what are you doing? She's like, yeah, my wife, she, all she does is eat meat. He's like, what do you mean just eats meat? He says, yeah. He says, have you ever heard of anything where you eat fat and you lose fat? He's like, that's crazy. So his family, I let them know what all the results were, and they were like, yay, that's really good. My husband's sister, her husband texts me without Winnie knowing about it. Can you tell me some more about that carnivore stuff that you're doing?
That's awesome. That's how you win them over, Holly. That's it right there. So impressed by you. Cancer feeds on glucose. So of course
I didn't know that. I had no idea until I started watching you. I had no idea that glucose feeds cancer.
Yeah, so of course this is amazing for you to do, but the fact that you looked into it, you didn't buy into the in the box talk of, oh,
Right.
meat is bad for our kidneys. No, it's not. So I'm pumped for you, Holly, and it sounds like your family is taking note too, and I bet a whole lot of other people are about to take note. Holly, thank
Thank
you.
you.
You're awesome. That was great. Woo.
Thanks.
All right, our next guest is Crystal. Hey, Crystal, talk to me about what's working for you right now.
My journey actually began October 2nd, 2017, when I first learned about keto. I was at 260 pounds. From that day to December of 2018, I lost 80 pounds, got down to 180.
Yeah.
I did great with maintaining that weight. And then gradually it got up a little bit. And then I maintained between 185 to 195
Wow.
until a couple of years ago. Well, the weight has crept up to 220 pounds.
Hey.
I've been watching you for like the last 3 to 4 years. I'm like, I love this Kelly Hogan. She's awesome. But I also watch all the other doctors, Dr. Berry, Dr. Chafee, Ben Bickman. I decided back in November, I needed coaching. I tried to get in with December, but you were sold out. I was like, oh, okay, she sold out. I got to get in January. Well, in the month of January, I have learned so much. But as far as the TDEE calculator,
Yes.
I really didn't know how to use it. It wasn't until you started explaining how to figure out the calories, the fats, the proteins, and such. I know I was overeating on some days.
Yeah.
And then undereating on others. Now, there were days I ate just right because, I would watch the scale go down.
Yep.
But on the days that I was overeating, scale moved up. But I know with my weight creeping back up to 220, it was just something's got to give.
Yeah.
Well, with learning the TDEE and how to monitor what I eat, take those numbers, put them in Carb Manager,
Yes.
the scale has been creeping back down
Yes.
from 0.4 to 0.6 pounds per day.
Per day?
Yes. Now, I look at it like this. I will probably kind of like let it stall for about a week or two and then let it drop some more, because I know if you try to drop every day, that's not good.
Well, in the beginning, it's pretty common for people to lose a little more steadily, and that'll you probably won't have to really change anything before you hit a little stall, and then it'll kick back in. Anybody who's ever lost weight knows it never goes like this, right? It's always more like, but the overall trend is, wow, you're trending down. That's so cool, Crystal.
Yeah, and I'm thankful. I'm very, very thankful. So I can honestly say that coaching is highly recommended, especially if they have more knowledge than you do. Then you take that knowledge and you run with it. When you get that knowledge, you actually learn how to apply it to yourself.
Yes. Crystal, I had mentors when I first started. I had no idea what I was doing. It's been a long time ago, so I've learned some things, but if it weren't for my mentors, my primary one was Charles Washington. I don't know that I would have been able to stick with it. And I had group support myself. So I really wanted to try to recreate what I was given in the beginning. And I'm so glad that you're a part of that. I'm excited to see where this is taking you, sister. Thanks for sharing, Crystal.
Thank you. And I look forward to this time next year. So we'll do an update next year.
Yes, I like that attitude. I'd love to. I'd love to have you all back next year. Thank you, Crystal. Okay, this is so much fun. I love this. Claire Grant, you're up next. Talk to me, friend. What's going on?
So it starts way back in 2007 when I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. And through that time, I've tried so many things, paleo, AIP, to help manage my condition. Fast forward to about 2019, I discovered fasting. And that worked really well for me. I felt great. I was able to manage my weight, get my weight down. And then I started to experiment with extended fasting. And I can almost remember to the day what happened. I was doing like a 48-hour fast.
Okay.
And I could just tell from that day that I finished that fast that something wasn't right. I'd had it described to me since then. It's like the pilot light on a boiler being blown out. So I noticed things went right, and then the weight started to come back on, and I just didn't feel right. And then it didn't matter what I did, nothing was working. The weight would start to creep back up again. So I took myself off of fasting. So this is now 3.5 years later.
Okay.
That took a best part of 9 to 12 months to get myself out of the habit of fasting. And then we fast forward into 2023, and I had a very, very stressful year, and I had 2 what I call Hashimoto crashes in the space of 6 months. Right at the end of 23, I found out about carnivore. So me being me, started doing loads of research and officially started in April 24. I joined your group in June last year, and I found that carnivore was working really well for me. So I'd be having breakfast, and then, of course, because of the fasting behavior, previously I wasn't feeling hungry, so I wasn't eating. So I was having breakfast, and then I was having my evening meal.
Okay.
And I remember talking to you very early on when I joined about that. And you said to me, try having a third smaller meal in between the two. Oh my God, bingo. The weight started to shift again. So yeah, that was really great. I lost 31 pounds in just under the 5 months, which is fantastic for someone with
Wow.
Hashimoto's, I think.
Yes.
And then I've had a bit of a stall, and I know we've talked about it recently, and I've gone back to TDEE and just brought everything back down to basics, and I can see where things have started to go a little bit awry, and just sort of giving myself a pep talk and just sort of brought it back in, and it's starting to shift again. And I just really wanted to share some of the key things. I'm just blown away. One of the main things that because Dr. Chafee will say Hashimoto's is actually one of the hardest ones to see improvements, because you don't always have physical symptoms. It's usually run by blood tests, and not everybody has physical symptoms with it. And my only real physical symptom was extremely dry skin, to the point on my forearms it was like sandpaper. I wish you could feel my arm right now. It's gone. So it's like a keratosis pilaris.
Yep.
My arms, it's gone. It's pretty much gone off the back of my arms, and my legs, it's nearly all gone. And I have had that for as long as I can remember. I can't even tell you how amazing that is. My hair has grown a lot. I've never had my hair cut for years, and my hair was getting shorter. That's grown so much. My energy's been really high, better sleep, better mood. And I ran blood tests before I started, and then I had another little blood test done at 6 months. And well, actually, it was a little bit less than that. And I'd already had an increase in ferritin and vitamin D. No supplements, just from the diet. Everything else is stable, and I've actually been able to reduce my meds. And this year, I'm just now into week 4. I'm back strength training, so that's massive for me.
This
So
is
yeah,
the
thank you to
coolest.
everyone in the community and all of the support. It's just been excellent.
Oh, my heart is so full right now. That is amazing. You're right. For someone with Hashimoto's to lose over 30 pounds in that amount of time, that's a really big deal. And to do it while growing hair and sleeping better and getting baby smooth arms. Yes,
Oh,
I love it.
feel my arm.
Hold on, let me touch. Oh, yeah, there it is. I love it. Thank you so much, Claire. I am
Thank
thrilled
you
for
so
you.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. I am now very excited because I have a husband and wife couple. Welcome, Susan and Michael.
I'll start off. During the last couple of years, I regained over 60 pounds.
Oh,
I had lost over 70 pounds at least twice in my adult life, and mainly through what I call healthy keto, which a lot of people have already talked about. The last time that I lost that weight was in 2019, but that was not why I joined Kelly's group or why I started carnivore. I started because I was really, really sick. I had terrible, terrible gut trouble. None of my doctors could figure out what was wrong. I had had colonoscopies. I had had all the gut microbiome tests, all of that. Well, that culminated in having a CAT scan last October. And I found out through the test they had to do before the CAT scan that my inflammation in my gut was so far off the charts. It was literally off the chart. And I thought they were going to diagnose me with some kind of autoimmune or something. But instead, they came back and they said, you have diverticulosis, which I already knew I had that. And I thought I was actually managing that condition at least as best as I could. But I was still, for more than a year, I was getting sick on a regular basis, so much so that my daily life was affected, similar to someone else who said they had to always know where the restrooms were. And sometimes I was afraid to go out really before noon during the day. I started taking coaching with Kelly in November. And I had started on the carnivore diet right after my CAT scan, but I didn't know what I was doing at all. In fact, it was the only diet I had never actually done. I've probably done every other diet. Yeah. And I started with Kelly in November and I went strict carnivore. And through some of the videos that Kelly provided us, I actually found out about eating soft meats. Mm-hmm. And so I started on soft meats initially. I made roast. Michael mostly made roast. That's what was recommended for healing the gut. And then as I went through the team and Kelly's coaching, I learned that I was an undereater by a lot. No surprise. I had dieted all my life. I needed to give my body positive safety signals. Yes. And so I went all the way up to my maintenance and maybe a little bit beyond, which, as someone else mentioned, was not easy for me to eat that much food. I had to really push myself. And I've lost consistently 7 to 8 pounds every month.
Oh my gosh.
I'm down 30 pounds now. It's to the point where now all my friends are saying, what is going on with you, right? Which I love to be able to say, I stopped eating plants, I stopped eating sugar, and I stopped eating grains. And then their eyes get really, really big. So I'm still eating close to my maintenance calorie range. I have broadened my food choices now beyond just my soft meats, although I still eat them every week. And I haven't had any gut trouble since I switched to carnivore. It was, as many other people have testified, it was almost immediate. It was so dramatic. I couldn't get over it. I kept waiting for the shoe to fall. Yeah. Thank gosh, the shoe hasn't fallen yet. I no longer crave anything sweet. I went through the holidays. I didn't even blink an eye. And so much food was put in front of me. It didn't bother me at all. Kelly helped with her coaching as well. I don't feel on a lot of days like I even need to eat because I am so satisfied. However, I do because the voice in my head says you need to make sure your body feels safe. And I know that when I don't eat, that switch can get turned on. I love the freedom from food that I'm experiencing. And when I do eat, I really enjoy it. So I'm not negative towards food. I love how good I feel, how well I sleep, and the fact that I have a lot more time now to do things that I love and enjoy because I'm not doing what I used to do to deal with my health. I mean, I could say a million things more, but I'll turn it over to Michael.
That's so cool. Listen, if somebody out there thinks it is impossible, the laws of thermodynamics, you can't eat more and lose weight. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Susan, your body did not feel that it could let go of anything stored because you were starving. And now you're eating your maintenance calories and dropping several pounds a month. Oh, I am so happy for you. And you've got a carnivore husband. I'm a little jealous there. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Kelly. So I'll tell you my story. Back in the day when Susan last went on healthy keto, I decided to do it with her. Okay. And the reason I decided to do that is because at the time I weighed 285 pounds. I'm 6'2", but still for 6'2", 285 is a bit heavy if you take a look at my musculature. So we did that. It was working well. I lightened my load down to 212.
Okay.
which
Wow.
made me feel much better. But I started to creep back up. And not only was I creeping back up, but she was having the gut issues. So it started to like not work very well. And I kept telling her, Susan, you've got to eat more fiber. I'll go out and buy psyllium for you. Right? Fortunately, she did not take my advice. And she did her own homework.
Yeah.
And also, fortunately, she discovered my Zero Carb Life and you. And while she was doing all this homework, she was feeding me that information because it never occurred to me to do carnivore, right? I can't eat that much saturated fat. I've got to have a lot of fiber.
Yeah.
And of course, our doctors, they were very traditional. So after her feeding me this information and learning more and more about that, I said, you know what? This is crazy. Yeah, let's go carnivore.
Yes.
Because that was her suggestion. You know, we got to go carnivore. And I'm thinking, it sounds. Anyway, so we started that back in early October of last year. I had crept up to like 225 pounds by then. And this morning I weighed in at 199.
Oh, my word, Michael. Wow.
Which actually, the biggest thing for me relative to how carnivore made a difference for me was my ability to sleep through the night.
Ooh.
I was even on keto, I was still geeked out, stressed out all the time. I would wake up 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, sweating, couldn't go back to sleep, felt anxious, would have to get up, do some breath work. Sometimes I'd fall asleep on the couch, but most of the times I would just stay up. And since we've been eating carnivore, I feel great. I sleep well. My whole life, I suffered from leg cramps, and I suffered a lot of them on keto, and I suffered some on carnivore. But now I'm to the point where I'm not getting cramps at all, which really helps me sleep through the night. I also want to thank you because the handbook has been really great. The TDEE is awesome. I found out that I was actually under eating a bit, and the habit tracker, and we're using the Lose It app.
Yep.
So important to keep track because I was under eating as well. And so, and I love meat. Yeah. It's taken me a little bit to get used to eating the fat, but I'm getting used to that, and it's really making a difference.
Oh, this makes my day. You sit back and you write and write and write on something, and you just hope it's going to be useful. And then you get Susan and Michael who show up and go, hey, that handbook is really helping. And you're feeling better and you're sleeping well. I love you guys so much. Thank you for sharing. And I love that you have each other. My husband is making some recent improvements. He's going to come out on a YouTube video here soon. He's not total carnivore yet, but maybe someday. All right. Thanks, y'all. All right. I have one last share for today. Tara, you've waited patiently. What did you want to share today? Hi.
I'm nervous, so bear with me. I'll go as quick as I can. Last night, I told my husband, why did I do that? And I was like, and he's like, but I think you have really positive things to share. And I was like, oh, thank you. Like a lot of people started keto, lost over 100 pounds, looked so much better, felt good, but something wasn't quite right. I still wasn't healthy. And then I gained more health issues. My guts were a mess. I had dizzy spells, all kinds of crazy stuff. It just, all of a sudden, I noticed that the only time I didn't feel all that major gut pain and pressure is if I had only eaten meat. So I rabbit holed it and found you and all the other people. And that was summer of 22. I did last year have a few months of oopsies, and I put on some back, and I lost another. When I first went carnivore, I lost another like 30 pounds, down to the least I've been my entire adult life post having kids. So I put some back on, and I was having trouble getting it back off. I've been behaving since September. I joined your group in December and started the TDEE. Turns out I am a volume eater. Okay. I would like to be an undereater. That way I could eat more, but I'm not. Yeah. But I have followed that using the carb manager. And, at first it was hard, but now I don't want a whole pound of meat for lunch. I just want a little bit. And everybody, are you done? Are you sure? Yeah, I'm good. I feel good. I've lost 12 pounds December, January.
Wow. Awesome.
And I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
Inflammation is low. I shared in the group the other day, I've got that hip thing that's doing way better due to lack of inflammation. It just isn't irritated. I had my grandbaby last week, 4 a week. He's almost 2. I kept up with him, crawling around and chasing him, and he's into everything. And that was amazing. Such a blessing. Things I wouldn't be doing. I spent for years and years with my Hashimoto's. I spent days in bed and, just not able through my 30s. I missed my 30s with my kids. At least now I get my grandkids.
Yeah, right.
So it's such a blessing to be able to chase them. Yeah. I can't tell people enough. Yeah, sure, it's great if you get skinny, but I'd be big if it meant feeling this way. I would swap that. I would not look great if it meant I could feel like this. The fact that you get both with carnivore after time, if you trust the process, is just amazing. I picked a word for this year, which is invested. I want to be invested in the blessings that I have, and feeling better means that I can. Yeah. Because investing takes time and effort. And if you're on the couch or you're too busy, craving food, the freedom is great. It's just, there's so much, but I'm just thankful. I've lost a little weight, which is nice. My daughter's getting married in April, and who doesn't want to feel like they look good in the dress that they're going to make you wear? But I'm also going to be able to chase all those babies and enjoy having them here and help with them. And so, yeah, I'm just grateful. Thank you so much. You've taught me so much, because I didn't know I was an overeater. I didn't know, follow the wins, even if it's not weight loss. Look at what you're winning, even when you're not losing. Yes. And it's amazing. The perspective is fabulous. So thank you so much.
I am so impressed by you and what you just said about it's not always about what we're losing. Oh, I want to lose. I want to lose. It's what you have gained. You've gained the chance to feel good. You've gained this opportunity to relive almost like motherhood, but with grandbabies now. You've gained the chance to run around with them. What a blessing. Tara, I'm so happy for you. I'm happy for your whole family and for these little ones getting to watch. What do they call you?
They call me, it's Bestemou. It's a Norwegian thing for my husband's side. But since they're babies, they've picked up Moo.
Oh, they get to watch sweet Moo run around and have fun and eat meat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, if anybody is watching at home, I think I can safely speak for every person here. If you are hurting, craving sugar, obsessed with food all day, food noise just screaming in your ear, if you have pains that you think are just aging, if you have a diagnosis that you think feels hopeless, you may feel like I've tried everything. Have you tried carnivore? Give it some time. Give us 30 days, but that often leads to 60 days, 90 days. Hang in there. Instead of just always carnivore harder, carnivore longer. Give it some more time. If you need help, there's a whole community out here who wants to hear that you're feeling better. We want you to feel better. That's it. I can tell you right now, that's why these people are here. Show of hands, if you are here to sell a book, sell your supplement line, are you here? You're not here to sell them anything. You deeply care that you were hurting and now you feel better, and you know that there are other people out there who are still floundering around, hurting, running, eating rice cakes and choking down all that fiber like Michael was talking about. More fiber. We've been there. We get it, and we just want to pull you in the lifeboat with us. So much love to anyone watching, and I'm so grateful to all of you. If you're watching the video and somebody spoke directly to you today, go to the comments and tell them thank you, or at least tell them hi. So thank you, everybody, for doing this with me, and I'll see you guys in the group soon. All right, bye. Yeah, baby! Woo! Hey, y'all are troopers. You stayed long. You kept your game faces on, and every single story so good.